Hey guys, this is Vivian Reed, and thank you for checking out my channel. Now, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, you gotta subscribe. And I want you to like. It's important that you like. Now, you know that my channel is all about show business in every aspect of it. So today, woo, watch out now, we have a critic with us. He's an incredible writer, and he covers nightclubs, concerts, and theater. So I'm just going to read you something that he wrote, okay? All right. Lots of people consider themselves performers, but let's be honest for a moment. Some of these self-proclaimed entertainers, and I hate to sound cruel, are much better suited to an occupation which requires neither singing nor dancing. Others have a pleasant enough presence which could be considered functional. Oh, Lord, I'm scared of him. All right, Ryan, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ryan Leeds. Ryan, how you doing, first of all?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much for having me on your program.
Well, thank you. It's important that we cover all aspects because obviously you go check out shows all the time. So on what I just read, which you wrote, would you please explain some of that?
Absolutely, I will. I have been both a performer and an observer of performers probably from birth. And I think that there are certain aspects that make a solid performance. There are aspects that make a mediocre performance, and there are aspects that just make for a horrible performance. And so I think, the key to having a good performance for anybody is to believe in what you're singing, believe in the lyrics. Also, to make sure that you've elaborated on this before, I've heard you talk about this, is the diction of lyrics.
Oh, wait, just stop right there. Woo, Lord! Stop right there. Did y'all hear this? You young people watching this? Diction, diction, diction. And unfortunately, for most of you young people have left the theater or wherever talking about, now were they singing in English or was that a foreign language? I mean, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but if someone has to question as to what you said, they couldn't hear you, they couldn't understand you, you need to work on your diction. Now, you see, Ryan talked about that. So pay attention. Diction is everything. Okay, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard. I mean, diction is hard even when you're talking at something like Hamilton or In the Heights or something that's or Sondheim, very wordy words, coming. That's hard enough. And if the listener is not accustomed to that, even if you are enunciating, it's tough to pick up. But if you don't, forget it. You might as well just sing la 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 and call it a day.
But Ryan, couldn't we say that if some of these young people have studied, couldn't we say that could be the fault of the teacher because they didn't work on that enough with their student? Because certainly at Juilliard, I took diction for a year. I couldn't have bad diction if I wanted to. Even when I'm just talking like this, my diction is good. And I remember that when I started singing more R&B and funk and everything, I had to throw diction out of the window because you don't want to be hitting hard D's and V-E, V, and D, like that would. You can't do that in R&B and that kind of singing, popular singing. But I think teachers should really focus on that, on diction, because it is part of being a great performer.
Oh, sure. And you can even cheat a little bit in funk and disco and pop and everything. But when you listen to the great divas of disco and the pop singers, you can still pretty much understand.
You can understand them.
You can understand them. So you can cheat, and you don't have to, like burning, singing. You can kind of do the apostrophe at the end, but the audience is still going to get it. They're still going to get it. So yeah, I think there's a difference between cabaret performance and stage performance. I think, if you, as a cabaret performer, you're the one who's pretty much constructing the show, unless you're in a show that's been already put together for you, but that's rare. Most cabaret performers do their own show. So another thing is you have to pick songs that you like to sing, and that are good for your voice and your type.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to be in a musical show, be cast in a show, and you're not particularly fond of the song. Then you have to fake it, and you have to make it sound like it's the best thing you've ever heard in your life, and you have to sell it.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to throw something in there because that is true. I have been in 2 or 3 shows, not many, but I would say 2 or 3 shows where I had maybe one song in each of these shows that I'm not going to call the name of these songs because I do respect the writer. I respect how the song was written and all that. I just didn't want to sing that song because it didn't say enough. It just wasn't a Vivian Reed powerhouse kind of song. Not that every song has to be a powerhouse song, but it gave me nothing. It gave me nothing. And when I tell you, I hated these songs only for the show. For my role, I hated the song. So what did I have to do? I had to find a way, as the actress in me, to deliver that song so that audience would be sitting on the edge of their seats thinking, oh, wow, what a great performance. So there are going to be times where young people are cast in shows where you're not going to like all of your material. And just like Ryan said, you have to find a way to like it so that you can be believable when you're delivering that song. All right.
Yeah, and sometimes what happens is you'll be cast in a show. You don't like this. You don't like the song, but by the end of the run, you find, wow, I like it more than I ever thought I did.
Nah, I never got to that point with this one song. I never got to that point, only with this one song. But I think the other 2, I think maybe you're right. By the end of the run, I did like the song. I like the song. But was it enough for me to ever put it in my show or something like that? No. But anyway, great point, Ryan. So continue, darling.
But that's different. That's being in a show where some of the creative ideas are beyond your control. But when you do your own cabaret, you have full creative control.
That's right.
And you have to pick those songs that, like I said, I'll say it again, that you like and that are right for your voice.
Yes.
They have to be in the right key. They have to, you have to believe the song. You have to really like it. You need to set it up so that the audience knows what they're getting into. That's all in the marketing. If you're going to do a show of R&B, you should market it as an R&B show. If you're going to do a show tunes show, you should bill it as such. If you're going to do a mixture of things, then talk a little bit about what you're all about. You want to let the audience know what they're getting into. Mm-hmm. So that, and there's also, and I think one of the great things about cabaret is that there's an element of surprise of what are they going to sing next?
Yes.
So that's always fun too.
But bottom line is, you just have to be a great performer. You cannot just stand there and not give how do you feel about that, Ryan?
You can't be, as much as I personally like to do this, you can't sit on a stool for 45 minutes and sing ballads. And this is something which I find is so admirable about you. You are all over that stage.
Yeah.
You are just animated and
but it's blocked. It is blocked. I'm not walking aimlessly. It is blocked when I'm going to go here, when I'm going to go there. But go ahead, Ryan.
Yes. But and some people aren't as animated as you, and that's okay too.
That's okay.
But
they probably are giving the audience something. My pet peeve is when I see an artist stand there and they focus in one spot. Yeah. And that's how they do their whole song. That's how they do the whole show. Give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, because if you do that, then what's the purpose? What's the motivation behind it?
And what's the story?
Yeah, there's no story. You're just singing to this void.
Bring the audience in to where you are in your mind's eye. They're never told that. And they can't get rid of it overnight. It takes several weeks because every time they've ever performed, they've done that. In theater, I do not want to see someone standing on the stage singing any number only staring straight ahead.
No, absolutely not.
I do not want to see that. And I've actually seen that in cabaret. Have you seen that in cabaret? Because I have.
Oh, absolutely.
You're in a cabaret where you're supposed to be communicating with your audience. Like you said a while ago, looking into their eyes, making them understand that you're singing to them. How is it that you're doing this? I'm not going to call any names. I did a show downtown, and one of the male, well, there were, I think, 6 of us, and we each had maybe 3 to 4 songs to sing each. And I think we did a couple ensemble beginning and an ending finale. And there were 2 tenors, extraordinary tenors, but one of these tenors was just unbelievable. He had been to Broadway several times, and he was youngish, still youngish. I mean, at that time, I think he was like mid-30s or something like that. But all of the rest of performers, including myself, we all were strong, strong performers. This guy had done Broadway several times when some of the others hadn't. All right. So every time he would come on stage, whether it was entering from stage left or stage right, he would come on, hit a pose, and that's how he would sing his song. He would stare just like this. The applause was polite, but every other performer, and he definitely had the best tenor voice, definitely. He had the honor of having been on Broadway and probably will continue to go on Broadway. He had the experience. But because it was ingrained in him to stare, because that's what his teachers told him, that's what he learned in college, should the director have told him, or whoever he worked with on Broadway? Sure, they should have told him. But obviously, if he was still doing that, he did it on Broadway, and there are people on Broadway doing that. So I don't know, I don't think experience always changes that. It depends.
There are people on Broadway who have very successful careers who are like cardboard. They have phenomenal voices, but you have to have more than that. It's more.
Yes.
It's more than just a great voice. It's the whole package.
Oh my God. Yes, expound on that a bit.
Yeah, it's again, it's like you were talking. You can't just go out, strike a pose, sing your song, sound beautiful for the 3 to 5 minutes that the song will be.
Yes.
You have to get into it. You have to get into the song. Even if it's a ballad, you don't even, nobody expects you to flail your arms, and which would be silly to do in a ballad
yes.
anyway. But there are subtle nuances that you can do that will just make a song so much better. It will be good. It will if you stand and park and bark, as they say. If you just park and bark, it's going to sound fine. You're going to sound great if you have a good voice. But it will be so much better. It will be so much better. Another thing, and this is getting to the nitty-gritty of performances, but and obviously doing 8 shows a week is challenging for the vocal cords. Many things, as you know, affect your voice, your rest, what you've eaten, what you've had to drink, your energy level. All of these things affect the voice. But in general, even when you're tired, you can sing on key, you can sing on pitch, and not go flat and not go sharp. If you have pitch problems, if you can't hit the notes, don't hit the boards.
No. No, you are so right. But it's amazing because I think a lot of the time, Ryan, I think parents, they tell their kids how fabulous they are. Oh, yes, you could have a career, honey. Yes, you sing as well as she does. You should go on out there and try. I think there have been parents who just ruin kids, having them believing something that just is not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they get their heart broken when they find they're not making it.
You have to believe that you have something to offer your audience. But you have to be realistic about it. Some people don't have the mental acumen to be brain surgeons, and that's fine. That's okay. That's okay. I don't. There are a lot of people, but and of course, being in the arts is a little bit different from brain surgery.
Yeah. You think?
But my point is that you have to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are in life. You have to know what those strengths are. If your strengths are to entertain an audience, then that's what you have to do. You also have to be open to criticism. And sometimes it's tough. And if you are confident in yourself, there's an ego that goes along with thinking that, oh, this is what I want to do. But sometimes you have to listen to wise people around you, people who really not the nasty people who are trying to tear you down, but the people who really care about you and who know voice and who know cabaret and who know performance, who are really trying to make you better. You have to be open to listening to them to say, okay, yes, please tell me how I can improve this.
And you can't be thin-skinned.
Exactly. You can't be thin-skinned. And again, you have to be, you have to be consistent too. You can't be great one night and not good on another night. Now we're all going to have our off nights.
Oh yes.
Nobody is flawless, but there are.
Well, I don't know.
You are a rare exception.
I'm plain. I've had my off nights, baby.
We all have, but you look for patterns. If you have a pattern of, missing entrances, singing flat, forgetting your lines, maybe you should pick up a scalpel and try to. And if you're a consistently good performer, yeah, you'll have your off night every now and again. But nine times out of 10, that audience knows when they pay money for a ticket to come to see you, they are going to get the best performance from you.
Absolutely.
You have ever given. And you deserve, and you owe that to your audience to give them the best of you too.
That's great advice, because you cannot be thin-skinned. I told that, to my students. They're only allowed to cry once and they can't cry again. You can cry one time, that's it. I said, because I'm preparing you for the real world. You're going to get notes until the day you die, or as long as you're in show business. You're going to get notes from somebody. So you can't cry every time somebody gives you a note, or you're going to get fired. Just write the note down, take it home, work on it, see what you need to correct. It's notes. It's called notes. Everybody gets them. So thank you, Ryan, for doing this. This was just so great. And I'll tell you, Ryan wrote in one review on me, which was actually quite helpful, and it was inside the review. He wrote that the band was too loud in the beginning of my show and they were overpowering me, which was good for me to read because I then got in touch with my conductor and my sound man, and I was able to make that correction. Now, the sound man did say that in the beginning they were trying to find that room and trying to figure out, what was what and to bring it down. But you did, I don't know if you remember, you did say that in one of my reviews. And I was grateful actually for it because I looked into it. And Grover, my sound engineer, admitted that in the beginning things were a little loud. And so you couldn't hear me.
Shouldn't have put that death warrant out for me then.
No, he shouldn't have put it. No, we were both appreciative because it's hard for me because I'm on stage. Normally, you go down or I go down in the house during the sound check, and I will check everything to see how it sounds, and it could be fine, but it's a whole nother thing when the place is jam-packed with people. Then you have to redo stuff. And so, but Ryan Leeds is an incredible critic, wonderful. He's an honest critic, and we thank God for him. So Ryan, thank you so much for doing this. Anybody I'm sure watching this will get a lot of good information. So say goodbye to the people.
Thanks. Goodbye.
You gotta wave like you have some energy. Come on.
Bye.
Anyway, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this show, watching this video with Ryan Leeds. Till next time, bye.